And with me on the line right now is Warzone promoter slash booker, Benny English, Ben Gilbert. And Ben, it's great to finally have you on the show. It's awesome.
Oh, it's been a long time coming, man. Thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, we've been chatting about it, saying, yeah, be cool, and then it just, sort of, it hasn't happened, and other things have gotten in the way, or other interviews have sort of come up. We've had to snap them.
Yeah. I'm nowhere near as important as that Rogue McManus guy.
Oh, come on now. Well, Benny, first off, we'll kick it off with, as we usually do with our interviews, and we like to know how you got into wrestling, and when you sort of became a fan of it.
Became a fan. It was kind of funny because I saw the Rock and Roll Wrestling cartoon back in the 80s. It was on Sky TV. That was cable for us. So it was kind of like Foxtel here.
Yeah.
And I pretty much Hulk Hogan. That was my first view of him. I'd never seen him before, and because in England we had Big Daddy and John Haystacks and stuff like that. So they were the wrestlers I saw, big, huge, fat guys. And pretty much I had a babysitter one night. I was very young, and I remember it was Macho Man jumping Hogan during the Miss Elizabeth situation when they were backstage after Elizabeth was carried back. And that was my first actual, I have seen American wrestling. And it was a big deal going to school and stuff. So I became a fan from that point on, just following it as much as I could. And then moved to Australia, got older. I wouldn't say became a grown-up, but I got older. And
so when did you move? When exactly did you move to Australia?
91.
Okay.
So I was about 9, just turned 9, turning 10 when I got here. And pretty much one day I was renting out wrestling videos all the time because I used to work at a Blockbuster when I was a kid. So
you had the sweet gig like Todd working at the video shop, getting the pick and the choice of the wrestling vids. Awesome.
Yeah. The minute they came out, bam! I'd be copying them because there'd be no copy protection on the VHSs back then. So I'd be running them off and copying them and then taking them back to work. So but pretty much from that point, looked up Australian wrestling feds, and in Dandenong there was PCW, and so I went down to a training session. Did horribly, disappeared for a couple of months, came back, and something clicked. I was able to do the basics, and they offered me a commentary gig, and did that for a little while. And that's pretty much how I started out in wrestling, to give you a really long, drawn-out answer.
How long did you do the commentary spot there?
Quite a while. I was only there maybe 2 years. I was there for the original Carnage, Lobo and Mad Dog, the Death Match, the original Risk with Spike and Lobo and stuff like that. So I had some awesome matches to commentate, but I was very young to wrestling and didn't kind of appreciate what I was seeing in front of me. And I was doing that for about nearly 2 years before PWA started. That was
PWA in Melbourne?
Yeah, the original PWA. That was started by Henry Lobo Jones. He was the one who, him and Cremator gave me my first proper opportunity to manage. But I like props to Cremator as well. I mean, at the time I was just commentator that was halfway decent. I say halfway being generous. And he saw that I was a bit of a motor mouth and said, okay, well, do you want to manage a couple of rookies? And that's pretty much how it all started for me, the managing stuff.
Oh, Motormouth, all right. My first Aussie wrestling shows were at EPW Adelaide, as I've said before. You probably heard me folks say on the show, and I tell you what, we used to go back and forth. I was in that front row having a few brewskis, and you would get riled up and stuck right into me, and it was always good fun, those shows.
Well, anything I've said horrible, I'm completely sorry.
Oh, it was all horrible. It was all absolutely, you'd get kicked out of school if you uttered that sort of stuff, that.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh, there you go. At least I know that we've abused each other at some point.
But you did your job because you were getting everybody offside, so that's good.
Well, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I kind of do that in all aspects of life, I suppose. But you might as well do it for a productive reason.
And so, when did the relationship with EPW sort of start? I guess because I mean that was my first experience seeing you and knowing of you, in wrestling. So.
Yeah, what happened was Hartley Jackson, Jag, he contacted me. Like, we knew each other from, between Steve Frost. I went to do a show up in Adelaide. It was the third show of the NWA. Not Jag's NWA, the other NWA.
Gotcha.
That was there for a little while. And, we met through there and, kept loose contact. And PWA was being shut down. I got talking to him and he offered me a spot. And he didn't have to. It was actually very generous of him to do. And I worked every show for him for nearly 5 years on and off. I think there was maybe 2 shows I ever missed, and that was because I was in the States at the time.
Yeah,
so, he's always really looked after me.
I can't recall a show that I went to back then during like 06 to 08, I guess it would have been the 09, the ones that I was going to, where you weren't there. You're either sort of opening the show or part of some faction, running amok. It was good times. No, great shows.
I really enjoyed my time there. I mean, that was a great learning curve for me. Jag gave me a lot of opportunities when I worked there.
And having an accent, that's got to make it easier to get booked as well.
Yes and no. Sometimes people, look, when I start talking in a blur, and I have done it on this podcast, and I apologize for all listening, I do kind of pick up speed and stuff like that. So I used to babble way worse than this. When I first started, I used to get pulled aside by people at PCW saying, slow down, calm down. So, it helps, but sometimes you need a translator or subtitles.
Well, it's funny because I was joking about that with Todd on the show a couple of weeks back, how, when UFC will be running a promo vignette or something like that, and they'll have an interview with Michael Bisping, and sure enough, they will have subtitles up there. And I'm like, I can understand him. What's wrong with you bloody Americans, But
no, that's true, though. It's true. When I was over in the States, and now and again, there'd be the occasional person that would give me that dog that's been shown the card trick look, that slight head tilt, not quite sure what they're seeing. So, but I mean, also I've kind of got a mixed Aussie accent, so it really messes me up when I talk to family and stuff as well, because they can't understand me, so I'm fucked.
Have you been in a different region of the world for 6 months or so? You've picked it up and brought it back, and now you're telling us.
Yeah, I'm completely ruining my family, baffling them all.
And so EPW Adelaide, it was you said like 4 or 5 years that you were there.
Something like that, yeah.
With Jag and Slater and that whole crew. When did your relationship with, or I guess when did the Warzone sort of thing take off? How did Warzone begin?
Oh, wow. About 2008 time, tail end of 2008, PWA had shut down by that point. PC Dub had more or less shut down by that point. They went on a hiatus for a couple of years, and in that time there was this kind of a dead zone when it came to wrestling. There was a couple of good shows, but there wasn't anything consistent. Really, the only one was Wrestle Rock by memory, and Alpha started, and I was helping out a lot with them, and it wasn't really going the way that I was hoping it would. And so I kind of thought, well, put my money where my mouth is. And so I ran a show in October of 2008, just before I went overseas with Slater. And that's pretty much Warzone. And I just planned it for one show. And I remember being in the truck with Ryan Rowlands and turning to him and said, that's it, no more. Never let me promote again. And Ryan Rowlands, to his word, completely ignored my pleas and encouraged me to do a second one in, I think it was March next year, where we had Nozawa on. And he wrestled Matt Silver. And Matt was nervous, as you can appreciate, but Nozawa kind of helped him out. And that was kind of what kicked us off, because we had then Carlo, Jag, Slater, Robbie Hart, Slex, all come aboard, and we just started moving up on from there, and started to pump out shows like 4 times a year, and we kind of filled the void for a little while. And while Wrestle Rock did their stuff, they were doing phenomenal shows, and PCW returned in 2010, and that pretty much what kicked it off from there. Like, we just kind of everyone seems to be working with each other instead of against each other, which I enjoy.
Well, that's definitely something that I've noticed with Warzone now is the relationship with obviously down here in with Riot City Wrestling and also PCW in Melbourne. I mean, you work with them yourself and you still manage on those shows, yeah?
Yeah. Me and PCW. It's kind of funny. We were never actually on the same page for a long time, and they actually were very kind and reached out to me, and during a downtime in my life and. They actually helped me out a lot, and to this day they still do. They're big supporters of Warzone. And a lot of their roster we kind of share and help each other out. It's a really good relationship going with them at the moment. I'm very happy to be part of it.
And Warzone itself has built up a really good rep for having consistent shows and really good talent, and also bringing up a lot of younger guys that might not get a chance elsewhere. With the whole 7 levels of hate. Adam Pearce and Colt Cabana, when they had to sort of have their 7th match in their series, they chose Warzone. Were you in contact with Adam Pearce or anybody from obviously the NWA didn't sanction the match in the end, but was that something that was in the works for a long time, or was it just sort of at the last sort of minute or the last 11th hour, if you will, they needed a venue and went, bugger it, we'll go to Australia? How did that happen?
What happened with that, me and Adam met in 2008, and we kind of stayed in loose contact, not messaging each other every day, but, now and again. And he hurt himself, and I sent out a message asking how he is. And then we got talking about, he might be finishing up. He was interested in coming to Australia. And I wanted something to pep up Warzone. We're going into a new year. I really wanted to do something different. At that point, we joined the NWA when Pierce first came out, and we got talking, and he was telling me about the 7 levels of hate stuff and wanted to do possibly like a side match, an exhibition match in Australia.
Okay.
No problem. And then, next thing I know, he actually contacts me, phones me and tells me, hey, look, this is the situation. We're coming out anyway. Would you like to be part of the 7 levels of hate? And I was like, yes, definitely. I was unaware of how things were going in the NWA at that point. So, and then I would be getting emails from the NWA side, hearing from Pierce, and pretty much, away we went. As you've seen, we were part of something very special with the way it turned out. Are we part of the NWA now? No. Are we missing it? It was a great run with the NWA, but we're actually a lot stronger for how things went, and a lot of it goes to Adam Pearce and Colt Cabana for trusting us to be able to advertise it and fill that venue. So it means a lot.
And the DVD is out at 7levelsofhate.com, I think is the website where you can grab that.
Yes, it is.
And
yes.
I grabbed my copy when Adam was down here for RC Dub, and you were over as well, and finally got to properly meet you and without berating each other.
Yeah, I was on my deathbed by memory. Yeah, I was coughing my lungs up.
You were not well. You were an absolute gun there, holding out and doing doing some of the merch and
helping
that.
And
out, yeah. Like seriously, you were just an absolute gun where you really didn't need to. Like it was, yeah.
Cletus deserves more of the props for driving. That poor guy, he got me to drive for maybe 10 minutes, and when I started hallucinating, off the medication, he went, yeah, now I'm driving. So he drove pretty much 16 hours that day.
Yeah, and then by the end of the show and after his match and whatnot, he was absolutely buggered as well. I remember he was ready for bed.
Yeah, the only person that wasn't was Enforcer, who looked very chipper. Because he never drove 1 mile the entire trip. God bless him.
Nice and fresh then, ready for action.
Yeah.
I was actually really impressed with Enforcer that night because I hadn't seen him wrestle in person before, and he was just brilliant. Really brought something different down to our show, I thought. Yeah,
Enforcer's one of those guys. I've been kind of blessed because I've known Enforcer since he was the first guy I met when I was walking into the student show, and he was going because he used to help out at those shows and introduced myself to him. I'm Benny Comtain. He introduced himself, his usual kind of one nod, one pump handshake, and pretty much we've always been friendly. But over the last few years, we've become real close friends, and he's been such a helping hand with Warzone, because he's such an experienced guy, much like Pitbull, Craig Cole. These guys, the older ones, being around the younger guys is what kind of helps at Warzone, keep the everything fresh. There's always something different, but you could always count on the old school as well. Mm-hmm. So I think, many generations mixing in. And that's something I've noticed at RCW, they seem to try to do as well, bring in older guys as well as the young guys to try to help educate, which I think is something that's lacking these days in a lot of feds. They don't seem to want to remember the past too much.
Yeah, and also having a few more mature minds around as well helps sometimes to sort of mellow out the younger, more eager, the ones who are either quick to fly off the handle or sort of aren't willing to listen. When you've got a couple of those guys around, they end up bloody listening, and it's really cool to have around. Yeah, people like Marvel, for instance, down here, even the Basso boys, they're only in their 20s pretty much, but they've been at it for so long. They've really got their heads screwed on right,
Yeah, no, I don't think out of all the promotions I've worked for, and this is not a slight on anyone, meeting the Bassos, Chris, such a welcoming guy as well, just going out of his way to make sure people are comfortable and stuff. And same goes with Matt. I mean, when he came down to Warzone, absolutely won the crowd over. It's just such a clever way of doing it. And these guys have worked so long to get the promotion going to the point of where it's pretty much counted as one of the premier feds in the country. And I'm not just saying that. I've tipped my hat off. I remember seeing very, very early stuff back when Sarah J was there. Yeah, just seeing on the website and stuff, and how they've changed over the years is just amazing.
Yeah, I guess down here it's one of those things where we can't with Riot City Wrestling we can't go backwards. So if the production steps up a level, then it has to keep going up. We can't take a back step. And even with our gym shows, it's basically our entrance there is our old entrance for main shows. That we've upscaled so much for the big shows that now we've got everything ready made there at the gym. And we're really fortunate to have just an awesome crew and everyone being so supportive, and people like yourself, like helping us out where we need, and vice versa. It's really cool to see a lot more of that, helping each other out in wrestling. Like it's a pity it's taken so long, but it's good.
I think it's definitely a change from the way it was 10 years ago when I first started up. Everyone seems to be a lot more cooperative. Look, you're going to get people that just don't get along. There's people I don't like. There's some people that don't like me, and that's fine. But if that's the case, just leave each other alone. Just try to dodge each other where you can, and the people that want to help you, stick with them. They'll look after you, and eventually, no one's best friends with everyone. So usually, just try to avoid each other.
I know exactly where you're coming from there, and let's just leave it at that. Let's just leave it at that.
Yes. Well, for the after dark one that we're going to do.
Well, look, let's talk a bit, because you do a bit of booking as well, yeah?
On occasion, I've been known to dabble. Yes.
What are some of the things that you've learnt from booking shows, that the do's and don'ts, and perhaps some of the, I guess, your pet peeves as well in Australian wrestling at the moment, that are just things that are really bugging you, that if I could change this on, I
actually wrote something the other day online. This is whenever you're approaching someone, and I learned this from Jag, which is, if you're going to approach someone for a booking, remember, first impressions count. And if it's over the internet, Facebook, then treat it like a resume. Speak respectfully. Spell check. I'm shocking for it. Yeah, I'm terrible speller, but my grammar leaves a lot to be desired. But you have to keep that in mind. I think people just think, "Hey, please book me." Smiley face is going to get them a gig, or "Hey, I've worked this show, book me." It doesn't work that way. That being said, I think, to be honest with you, there's not much that really upsets me too much anymore. I used to be really easily agitated, but I think as a booker, the things that people that don't understand is a whole show. People that go, "Oh, I'm not happy. Why?" "Oh, well, I want my friend to be on the show with me." But it doesn't help the rest of the show. Or does that mean somebody who has worked hard, missing now. I'm lucky I don't really deal with that too often, but in the early days of Warzone, when the roster was a little bit different, I definitely had that, I don't want to do this, or, I had to talk people around. Luckily, people are a lot more appreciative. I'm lucky because I've also got a crew that actually wants to be there, that get what I'm trying to do. And I think a lot of the feds in Melbourne, from what I understand, have very similar crews. I think the old attitudes are long gone, and there's a lot more upbeat kind of personalities now, especially with the schools that are going around. I mean, you've got the PC Dub school, you've got Carlo's school. All of these places, they're kind of teaching more respect and being grateful for the opportunities you get, but also earn the opportunities. So I think, bit of a long-winded answer, but I don't really see too many pet peeves out there anymore. But that would probably be my hardest thing is but I don't, please, just trust me. As a booker, please trust me. I'm doing this for all of our goods. So, if that helps.
And what with you're talking about the training schools there as well. I guess the one that you would be close, involved with a bit more closely is the PCW training school there. Yeah. If people are in Melbourne and they want to get involved with the PCW training school, how do they go about it? And what can people expect, I guess, from some of the trainers and the courses? I guess,
PCW school is one of the older schools. It does pump out a lot of people. I mean, that's where people like Tennille, Brooksy, Psycho, all start, Carlo, all of them started out, and it's more than anything, it's a great launching pad. Since my time there, they've had Adam Pearce train people on a very regular basis. To contact them, it's pretty much simple. You just go onto their website. They're very open about things. They're you've got some great people down there that are willing to help as well. I mean, Gabriel Wolf, for example, who's still very young in wrestling, but he's very passionate too. And he does teach people down there, and I found him to be one of the, the better people out there to teach, because he's got such a patient, calm personality about him. Then you've got Tricky D, who's been around for, a long time, nearly 10 years, if not more. And you've just got all these guys, and people like Swagger who come through, Enforcer, who helps out from time to time. All these people coming through, and also Stephen Pullen is a very giving guy. He goes out of his way to try to help a lot of the rookies, and so much so that even with the recent Warrnambool show, he still included them, even helping out on the show. He really got a unity thing going. So, it's really good to see that type of stuff. So that's pretty much with PCW, that's what you should expect.
Cool. And PCWentertainment.com, that's the website?
That's the one, yeah. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Facebook is all I ever do these days. I don't surf the internet as much as I used to. So, if you know the website, bully for you. Well done.
Oh, I guess it's my job here, so I have to.
It is. So, see, you're the man with the information. I'm just a stupid schlub that, just happened to be answering his phone at the right time, I suppose.
Funny that. Coincidence.
No, well, it was either that or serious lack of other options, I suppose, for tonight. You found me, and God bless you for it.
Well, we got to get on to another topic here, which I'm sure a lot of people in the Ballarat area of Victoria are going to be very excited about. Any wrestling fans out there listening, if there's a few, BPW is returning in 2014. Now, Ballarat Pro Wrestling were drawing awesome crowds and putting on some really good shows with some really good talent back in, I think, 2008, 2009, 10, around that time. Yes.
That's definitely one of the promotions I've always been proud to work on. Jim Ray's, to other people, that guy has put so much of his heart and soul into that company.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I'm lucky enough to, count him as a very close friend, and he was talking about restarting it, and, I wanted him to restart it for some time. Other feds have gone down to Ballarat, and they've given it a go, but Ballarat seems to be very much, this is our home fed, if that makes sense. They're very passionate about it, and, the guys who also performed on it, they got it. They got what the show was about. And so I think helping bring that back in a small way. Warzone's playing a very small part in this. BPW is definitely going to be Jim Race's creation. He's still got control over it. Nothing will change. You're going to have a lot of old faces there. It's going to be an awesome night. I'm very excited to be part of it and to be allowed to be part of it.
And what is the date? When is the date of that return show?
I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. Yeah, it's going to be June 28th.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that one, it's going to be a real big show. I mean, we've already got a lot of people asking questions about it. So, no, I'm very excited to it.
That's going to be very cool. And as I said earlier, like they were getting crowds of 300, 400, 500, and it's in a town like Ballarat. Not a lot of entertainment, I'm sure, comes to the area. So when there's pro wrestling...
Oh, John Farnham, mate. John Farnham, come on.
Oh, Whispering Jack. Well, yeah, okay. You're the most challenge. Okay, but...
Yeah. I mean, come on, you got to give the guy credit. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
When wrestling comes to town, though, like the people just seem to come out in droves and eat it up. So that is just awesome news. June 28th, folks, look out.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be... And Warzone's definitely going to play its part, though. Even though we're doing a small role, we are going to be playing our part to try and get as many people there as possible and really help BPW, get back to where it should be, which is one of the dominant feds, pretty much in Victoria. I mean, they really did hold the title when it came to their shows, when it came to quality and quantity of people. I mean, in the whole time I was there, I don't recall seeing a small crowd. Let's just put it like that.
And another big event that is coming up, we need to talk about this. First of all,
which one?
Warzone is happening March 15th, the Berwick Secondary College. It's Berwick, all happening.
Berwick. You interstate call it Berwick. I don't understand.
Berwick.
Yes, Berwick Secondary College Performing Arts Centre on Manuka Road. This one I'm really looking forward to. We're restarting our women's division, which has been dormant for some time. We're starting off with RCW's own Savannah Summers and Hardway Inc.'s Miami. So for the RCW women's title as well, no less. So we're really kind of deciding to kick it off with style with this show.
And those two are no strangers to each other. They've been wrestling each other down here in Wright City for years. You guys are going to get a top-notch matchup with those two, for sure.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much... I've been talking to Savannah Summers about coming down. Miami was definitely an option. And it just seemed to be the most perfect match to start with, especially now Miami lives in Melbourne. She's since moved, and she, it's Melbourne versus South Australia. Please don't do your history. Yeah, I think it's going to be a great show. Also, you've got Adam Brooks versus Rocky Romero. That's going to be a great match.
Another SA versus Victoria match. That one.
Oh, there you go. That one. It depends where Adam Brooks is living at the time.
And Rocky for that matter. So yeah.
yeah. Both those guys kind of drift around the country. So hopefully they'll be able to pick a spot. But yeah, I mean that match is going to be. I'm very excited for that one. I mean you got. The tag titles finally coming into play as well. Cremator and Mike Burr versus Dowie James and Enforcer. This one's actually almost a throwback to the old days of PWA because all these guys, I've known them all, especially, Dowie as well. I was there during his formative years as well when he started wrestling. So we really have something for everyone. And Pitbull versus Chris Trio. I mean, these guys are almost carbon copies of each other. Just maybe about 40 years difference. It really is spooky just seeing them together in the ring. So, yeah, that with a huge other card, it's going to be a great night. I'm very excited. We're getting great response from bookings and everything. So, hopefully, with luck, we'll get another full house for the event.
And if people want to get tickets for that, what are the details there as well? The prices and all that sort of jazz there.
$15 for adults, $10 for kids. You could give the booking line a call, 0459 362 423. And on a side note, we're also going to have Submit down there. And they're going to be selling their merchandise and everything there. Great lot of stuff that they're going to be selling for us. It's really good to have them down.
Yeah, and they help us out a great deal here at the show. So,
Great bunch of people there.
That's it. So if you're not a fan, I know there are some folks out there that still aren't too keen on buying, merchandise online and whatnot for security purposes. If you want to get a hold of Submit merch or check it out, you can at Warzone. So that's really, really cool. Before I let you go, Benny, just want to throw a couple of quick ones at you. Through all of the talent that you've seen, in your time come up through like the PWA school and PCW and all these sort of places, and then going on to bigger and better things. Who are some of the people that you've that I guess have overachieved in a way, that you thought, oh geez, well he's talented, but then they've just exceeded your expectations? And some guys who and girls for that matter, who you think are on their way up, who you think we might in a couple of years really see them sort of starting at their full potential?
Probably. Look, I play favourites. I won't lie to you. Without a shadow of a doubt, Brooksy on both ones. Mm-hmm. He's really. When I first met him, he was like a small kid in the tag team at PCW. Played a lackey elsewhere. I didn't really know him till Bar, so we really didn't have a very good relationship when we first met. We didn't know each other. We heard things about each other, but that was about it. And since first meeting, he was so cool to me. And I worked with him in PCW, managing him, doing I would be trying to drag him down, punish him for the sake of it. And he played it down, he got it. And he was a lot of fun to work with. He just keeps improving every show. And now he's Warzone champ. He's just been kicking goals for us. And not just here, but whenever he goes into state as well, he defends that belt. And it's only a matter of time till he goes overseas. And when he does, if he sees an opportunity, he better grab it, because he's one of those guys who can run with it if need be. Without a doubt. Just trying to think of Grim. He's another one that really does surpass all expectations. You just take a look at him, you go, okay, big guy. But the way he moves, just so intense, I think it would be the word.
Yeah, totally.
It's just so many people out there. I mean, you take a look at, say, Kellyanne English, the Cute and the Meridian, depending which show you go to. She's also one of those that has just advanced and moved on to where she can go off and achieve some great things. And I'll be honest with you, didn't see it coming. There was a long time where things in Melbourne were a bit weird, but she learned from everyone she could. So God bless her for that. It's so hard. I mean, you've got Slexes, Carlos, even the older guys, Pitbull, Enforcer, guys who've stuck around and helped. Daniel Swagger is often overlooked. And I find he had some great matches with Adam Pearce when he was down here. And Adam, who has worked with the best, I remember we pulled up to a training school and there was Swagger, and Pearce turns to me and goes, why the hell is he here? I've got nothing I can teach him. And that's a huge compliment.
Wow.
So, that's just some of the names off the top of my head. I know I'm forgetting some people. Clearly, Ryan Rowlands. Jesus, how could I forget him?
Oh, right.
I've known him since he was 15, Ryan Rowlands to me, mate. But look at him, AWA superstar. God bless him. And like Tennille, she's gone off to do great things. I can keep rattling them off. I just look forward to what the next generation will do. I mean, there's so many people coming through, through Carlo School and PCWs. It makes it tough to know what direction to look at the moment.
No, there's definitely a bright future, and with everything going so well with Warzone and like everything that you guys are doing, just for the betterment of wrestling in Australia, with helping out other promotions and everyone that you can really, it's awesome, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get you on here as well, because wrestling needs more people like yourself, to be honest, who are just willing to put their hand out and give a brother a hand, so to speak. You know what I mean? And be respectful and it's good. There are a lot more people like that around, but
look, there's a lot more than there was 10 years ago. And there's saying I say this, not many people. You may not agree, but people say there's no money out here. If that's the case, then when somebody says, this isn't personal, this is just business. No, there is. It is personal. Everything is personal because you're putting so much of your own life, into a company or a promotion, whatever you want to call it. you're putting so much of that love into it that, you can't help but take it personally. And I think that's why, if there are, feuds between feds and even individual wrestlers, sometimes it stems from just simply that they feel disrespected. And that's what I love. Unfortunately, communication is one of the things that seems to break down a lot. And I think that's why again, PCW, myself, me and Mana in Perth, even working with Mark Williamson in Sydney, he's a great conduit to other feds that helps communication. And I think that's really lacking. And stuff like this, I think, really helps.
Rad stuff. Well, before we let you go, Benny, we need you to get all the plugs out the way. So your Twitter, Facebook, all of that sort of jazz. If people want to get in touch with you, if people want to get in touch with Warzone, all of that, let us know. Tell us where to go.
Warzone's on Facebook, my man. Okay, with the Warzone page, see, you put me on the spot, man. Do you think that I remember
Facebook.com/Warzone Wrestling AU.
See, you got your stuff. Why are you asking me? This was all a trick, wasn't it, to humiliate me?
I haven't even got it in front of me. It's actually in my head, but I thought it'd sound better coming from the source.
In that case, why are you asking me? Come on, I think this is... mate, you're just trying to make me look silly. Yeah, but the Warzone website, WarzoneWrestlingAustralia.com.au. That one will take you directly to our Facebook. We're redoing the whole page. It's going to be really great. We're definitely going with a new look in 2014. As anything, it's a slow build, but it's going to be there. But that is basically the conduit. There'll be links all over the place to get to our YouTube, to get to our Twitter. It's all there. Be able to do that. I advise everyone to come and check out Warzone 19. Jesus. I should been so many. But also check out your local feds, your PCWs, your RCWs, your NHPW. All these feds are working their tails off. And it would be nice to actually see some all-round acknowledgement for them. Because they are working themselves to the bone these days.
No, you're not wrong there. Totally agree with you. And on that note, Benny, I guess we will wrap it up. So, again, just thanks heaps for joining us and all the best with Warzone 19, March 15th.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you for the call.
Have you ever rented a video that wasn't quite right?